All right, so now today, what we're gonna do is, if you go to the website and if you look on the left side here, I have a server list. Okay, and I promised everybody to give 3 servers, but I was able to get to only 2 servers each person. Okay, so in here, find your name, and you have server one, server two. Like me, I have server one and server two on the bottom. So this is where you get your access to the servers, and these are your own server. You will have like a root access. I want you guys to like break it, do whatever you want to, break it, destroy it. The If somebody comes up to me and tell me the server is destroyed, I'll be really happy because you're going to learn that way how to build it and all that. So on that note, let me see what else we have before I jump in there. So we finished directory structure. All right, so directory structure not a big deal. It's just informational. You don't have to freak out about it. The only thing you just need to is etc is the one you'll be using a lot, like every day. You will be using it so much you won't even know you are in etc. So and all right, so I think this part is very good. And okay, so now everything from start to beginning, everything is in here. Starting today, I will split up and I will add like few more uh, topics in here so that you have easy access. You will have like VI editor, redirector, and the assignment. I'll put in one assignment this week so that you guys could have some fun. Okay. All right. So uh, give me 1 second here. Let me connect from iPad. Okay. All right. Settings, change audio. Okay. All right. So let's work on what we're gonna do is everybody pick one server from your server list, okay, and keep it ready. So I have 110. So 2022 already, man. Last job we worked together was 22 years ago, Shakil.
Time flies. It's crazy. It was like yesterday.
Yeah, we still remember his fun stuff. Okay, so what we're gonna do is SSH. It's called secure shell. Okay, so what we're gonna do is go ahead and log in the main server. From there, what you're gonna be doing is type SSH, okay, and the other place I have the name as ZMPT. So everybody use ZMPT at, and whatever the server IP address is. Mine is 10.1.10.110. So whatever your first IP address is, use that one. Okay. So what is going to happen here is, let me scribble. All right, so this is the command. This is the username on the remote server. And you have to put at, and this one is the server IP address. The remote server. Okay. Now if you don't give the address, I'm sorry, if you don't provide the address, right? If you don't, I'm sorry, not the address, but the username. If the username is not provided, what username you think is going to use? It will automatically try to use this username. All right, so all right, let me save this. Okay.
Question.
Yes, sir.
You said that if the ZMPT, if user not provided, it will use current user, which is still ZMPT.
No,
What is
no, no,
that
no.
mean?
That's the server name, Zafar. Look on the right side, Zafar at ZMPT. That's the username.
Oh, okay.
Very good question. Very good observation.
Thanks.
Okay. So now, now go ahead and hit enter. And what is it saying is it's authenticating. So it's asking you if you want to exchange the fingerprint. Okay. So what is going to happen is it's exchanging the fingerprint. That means it's exchanging the keys. Okay. And go ahead and type yes. YES. And now it's asking the password for ZMPT on this server. The password is Red Hat, all lowercase. Type Red Hat and hit enter. Okay, now you are into a different server. So what happened is over here you put yes. I need to get a different color. Okay, and then here you have to put in the password for ZMPT. This is the password you put in. Password for ZMPT. And here is exchanging the keys. Okay, and then once you do that, you are into a different server. Look at here. That is the server name and the username. All right, anybody? So if you type host name there, okay, you have the name of the server name is test.zmpt.com. Any questions? I'll show you a diagram. I'll show you a diagram how it works, okay? All right. So everybody is able to get into their own server?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, great. All right, let me download this. Okay. So now, all right. So let me copy this. All right, give me one moment. The kids are. Hey, I'm in a class, man. Keep it going. Abdullah, keep it going. Okay. All right. So let me take a look. So what SSH really does is so here's the definition of what really happened here, okay? So SSH is the secure shell protocol is a cryptographic network. The cryptographic means it's secure. It is highly secure network protocol for operating system services securely over a unsecured network. Okay, and its most notable application are remote logins, command line execution. SSH application are based on client-server relationship. All right, and any network service can be secured with SSH. Okay, so let me copy the picture I created earlier.
Question.
Yes, sir.
When you try to connect with through PuTTY, so you have SSH. So this is the thing that we connect to the server.
Oh, yes.
And what about that next to the SSH, there is a option, we have that serial, other, telnet, so we don't worry about those things? We don't need to know?
Where in the internet search?
Yeah, no, when we select the SSH in the PuTTY,
Mm-hmm.
so then there is next to that another option available that says serial. The next one is other, and in the tab there is a telnet. So
Yeah.
do we
Yeah.
need
So
to know that? I don't know
no,
what is.
those are different services.
Okay, so and the port should be always 22 for
22.
SSH.
Yeah, 22 exactly.
Okay, all right.
It's a reserve port 22 SSH, and
Okay,
we're not worried about serial. I think serial is to connect to the routers, I think, but I'm not sure. You brought that up. I'm using this so often, but all these things are blind to me. I just never think of that.
right. I just wanted to
Yeah.
be make sure that we should always use the SSH.
Well, you have to. I mean, even if you try to do other stuff, you won't be able to connect to the server. So that's what it is.
Right. Okay. Got it. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. So now from the last class, I have a picture here. Let me bring that up and let me post the picture from last class.
Do we have to add like SSH ZMPT add also, or SSH and the IP number is enough?
So, all right. Let me. So what you really need to do is give me 1 second here. So this is from a last class. I connected from there to 10, 110, right? It's not working as okay. So I connect to 10.1.10.110. So what happened here is and Okay. Okay, so what is happening here is you have when you initiate the connection, the SSH server, and you're connecting from one server to another server, and what is happening is all that happened, all that interaction that happened like in a fraction of a second. So the client initiates the connection, and it says it finds the IP address on the network and it says connect to it. And then what it does is the SSH server, the connection you're trying to connect to, he sends a key. He sends a key to the server. And when this server we're trying to connect from receives the key, and he says, "Oh, I received the key." So then he asked me, "What is the key I sent you?" And he says he sends that key again. So now, number 3, what happens is all that thing I just said happens here. And then the connection is allowed. Okay, why is the connection allowed? Because you provided the password. So let me bring that screen up on the screen again. All right, guys, give me 1 minute here. I have kids here I have to manage. Give me 1 minute. You will have access to the server here. I mean, if you're going to be working for a bank and you have a root access and something got messed up, you will be responsible for it. Okay, so don't misuse this. It's really important you keep it secure and don't share with anybody. Okay, everybody with me so far?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, good. So okay, so now the next thing is, so I want you to everybody to change the name of the server. Okay, so how are you going to change the name of the server? The command is type host name ctl space set host name. Before that, just type hostnet so that you know the name of the server right now in front of you. So go ahead and type host name set host name, and then everybody give your name 01.zmpt.com. Okay, I'm giving Zafar01. You guys should give your name 01@zmpt.com. And we have other 3 servers here. So I'm going to put in the assignment to do that to other 2 servers. Okay, and then I'm going to hit enter. What? Okay, I put in the wrong host name. And you type host name ctl set host name and zafar01.zmpt.com. Okay, and then hit enter. All right, now you do host name. You have a new name there. So everybody should have like Shakil01, Aisha01, whatever your name is. Just use that and then put it down so that it's easy for you to come to the server next time and to take a look here. In reality, that's how it works too. You have like hundreds of servers. It will be Zafar1 1 200.zmpt.com. So if you're working for like example Chase, you'll have like database server 01 at chase.com and all the way to how many of our servers you have. Okay, so this is the way I'm showing you is just how real it gets.
After typing that, also we are still at root at test.
Yeah, so the reason is you are logged in into the session here, so exit there and go back and hold on, let me see if it's gonna do without completely going out. Okay, there you go, it worked. Exit and go back as sudo space su hyphen. So this time around, if you exit, it will go back to the previous user you were in. It won't collect the connection. And then if you type exit again, then it will disconnect.
I'm still at root at test.
Okay, type exit and hit enter once.
Right now I'm at ZMPT at test after exiting.
You exit, okay, you went back too far. So go back into the server again, SSH. Are you there?
ZMPT at test.
Yeah, from there, go ahead and type the server name. Let me, I think I need to show you. So see what, this time, I'm at root at Zafar01, right? I type exit and I logged out as root. I'm still at ZMPT at test, right? So do exit, now go back into su sudo space su space hyphen and hit enter.
And the password is again red hat.
Yeah, red hat. So you do this here, and then when you hit enter, okay, it's not asking me the password because I just put in the password not too long ago. Okay, there is a time frame. If you put in the password not too long ago, it will allow you to get in there. And now,
Like how you are at root at Zafar01, I am at root at test.
yeah, you missed this part. So just type host name and hit enter. See what happens.
I have a question, Zafar bhai.
Root
Yeah.
at test.
Root at test, right? So go ahead and
Yes.
do this part. Hostname
Okay.
CTL, set hostname, and then type aisha01.zmpt.com and hit enter. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead, Harsh.
Zafar bhai, the host name is CTL, right?
Yeah. This is
Not one. Okay.
No, yeah. This is hostname CTL.
Okay.
And CTL part, CTL, this part is called control. Hostname control. That's what it means. So CTL is short.
I entered that and it took as again root attest.
Okay, now type hostname and see what happens. It should be aisha01.zmpt.com.
Yes.
Okay. Just type exit once and hit enter and come back as sudo space su hyphen. Then you should see here root at, because once you make changes, you have to get out of it and go back in there. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
now I am at root at Aisha.
There you go. So
Thank you.
you successfully changed the name of the server. And why were you able to change the name of the server? Because you are a root user. Only root user could do that. It's very, very important. If you go there first day at the job and change the server name, it's going to be a big problem for the company. Okay, don't do that. Don't do the things you're not supposed to. First 6 months or a year, just listen to what everybody's saying. Just follow it. And then after that, you could ask other to follow you. All right. Everybody good on this?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Let me save this. Okay. So what I'm going to do is Abdullah, what is happening? What did you drop? Okay, put it back together, please. Thank you. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we have, so do I have a picture from last time? So what we're going to do is we have from server 1. So we have server 1 and server 2, right? So 110 and 50. Okay. So what we're going to do now is we have made a one-way connection here so far. Okay. So what you got is the server you connecting from the internet, right? So you're connecting from internet. Then from here you connect it to one server 110, and then from here I'm going to connect to another server here, which is going to be 50, and then there's going to be another server here. I'm going to make it public later today, and then from there I'm going to connect here. So far, and from here to here we made only one-way connection. If we do the other way, if you try to connect from here to this server here, then it will do that here. We are not worried about it. So what we're going to do is we're going to connect from 110 to 50. We're going to change the name, then feed 50, and then we're going to connect back here. So the trust is established one way. Unless you establish two-way, then it's not going to ask you the password each time. The exchange the keys and all that. Okay, so let's do from 110, I'm going to connect to 50 here, okay? All right. So let's see here. So go ahead and exit here. Stay wherever you are in that server. ZMPT, it says test here. So exit out of completely here so that you know you don't get confused. From ZMPT01, go ahead and go back in there at ZMPT at whatever your first server is. And it will ask you for the password and activate the web console. Okay, don't worry about this if you get this error message. So if I do host name, I'm into Zafar01 at zmpt.com. Okay, and I want to see what is the IP address. All you do is ifconfig and hit enter. Okay, hold on, don't run that. It's a bad command to worry about it at this time.
Maybe ipconfig.
Hmm?
Maybe ipconfig.
No, ipconfig is in Windows.
Okay.
Do IP space A as in apple. No, that is confusing too. All right, hold on, let me find the easy command. Let's see, IP addr show. I still don't like that.
Zafar bhai, ipconfig -a.
Okay. IP or ifconfig? ipconfig doesn't.
if if.
Okay. All right. So, well, I think there is no other way just to give the big information comes out here. Okay. All right. So everybody look for ENP0S9, and it should have your IP address. And we also have ENP08 and 03. We'll use that later on. We have like a I attached 3 network cards here so that one is to get in there. Normally the system will have no more than 2. Okay, but over here for us to go around the networking and all that, I had attached this here. In reality, ignore this. You will be only dealing with S3 and S8. So right now I'm on 110. Okay, my other server is what is my other server? Is 50. So from here, I'm gonna clear the screen. I'm gonna do SSH. At this time around, I'm just gonna put the IP address 10.1.10.50. So if I'm not putting at the username, it's gonna automatically take ZMPT. Okay, and hit enter, and it says fingerprint, yes. Why is this coming up? Because you are connecting to this server for the first time. And the password, Red Hat. All right, there you go. You get that message. Don't worry about that. But if you do host name, test.gmpt.com. But if you do IP ifconfig -a, you should see, look for 9, number 9, ENP0S9, and this is the IP address. All right, go ahead and set the host name again. Everybody with me so far, or should I slow down a bit?
You're good.
It's good.
Okay, good.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
So did you change the IP, or when you were doing SSH and then the IP, were you changing from one network card to another? Is that what you were doing?
This is, I'm going into a different server. Go back to this place and then go to your second server. You are in first server. Go to your second server is 10.1.10.73. Is that the question?
No, that wasn't the. Well, yeah.
I pre-configured one of the IP. Yeah.
Okay.
Or what is your question, man? Come on, spell it out.
Yeah. So that's my question was, what were you doing when you were changing, when you were typing SSH and then the IP address?
Oh,
you were
okay.
jumping too much.
So I'm on to my first server, and I did SSH and the IP address. This time around, I didn't provide the username. Why? Because if you don't provide the username, it will automatically take this username.
And then this IP 10.1.10.50. This is your second server, right?
Yeah. So
Okay.
find your second server and go ahead and connect there.
So I have config. Okay, yeah, so I see ENP0S9 as the IP now for the second server.
Okay, yours is 73, I think, right? Last digit.
Yeah, 73.
All right, there you go. Okay. All right, moving along. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is I do SSH and hit enter. Since I have already established the keys, I'll just type Red Hat and I'm in there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do host name, and I don't like that, so I'm going to do host name CTL host name control set host name, and then I'm going to give Zafar 02 this time at zmpt.com and hit enter. Oh, okay. Now what do you say? It's not taking it. Why is it not taking it? Can somebody tell me why I'm not able to do it? Because I'm not root. I have to be root to do that. So you do sudo su hyphen and hit enter and provide the name for Red Hat and you become root. Who am I? Who am I? All one word. Now you're root. So what you could do is you could go host name CTL host name control host name set host name, sorry, set host name, and I'm going to give Zafar02 at .zmpt.com, and if I do host name, it has changed it, but it's not reflecting it yet. Why? Because exit and come back in again. Now it did. All right, I'm going to give you a 1 minute pause and let me know everybody's caught up.
Okay, so I misspelled my second host name. So how can I correct that?
Do it again. Bring everything back up, make the correction, and hit enter.
Okay, got it.
This time, are we supposed to have like 02?
Yeah. I didn't have a chance to give everybody 3 servers. I will do it today.
No, no. Are we supposed to enter 02 this time, not instead of 01?
Yeah, 02, yes. Because you are in a second server, right?
I did 01 again. So how do I fix it?
Yeah, just bring the line back up. If you use the up arrow key, and then just go back here and then change it. Okay, everybody good?
Yeah.
Okay, good. along. So all right, give me 1 second. Abdullah, keep it low. How many class? All right, so now what we're gonna do is, let me clear this. Okay, I'm gonna do host name, and I'm gonna exit here. So when I exited out of as root. Now I'm back as ZMPT. Exit here. Now I'm back to my original server. The connection is closed now. Okay. So I'm back to ZMPT. From ZMPT 02, I'm back into ZMPT 01. Why is that? Because of this here. So you went in there and we did some activity. Okay. So now why is it? So we were in here 50, right? When we go back, it come back to 110, and then from here, when we exit again, we'll go back to the first server on the top. So if you come in this way, when you keep exiting, it will go back the reverse direction. Okay. So now if you type host name here, you are on to Zafar 01. Let me exit out of here. So the connection is closed from 110. It was into connection to 50. So from 50 we went back to 110. From 110 we went back to our original server. Okay. Now let's try to go into 110 again. It's asking the password here, right? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna set up as such. Next time it will not ask us for the password. So for that, you have to set this as a passwordless. Host name.
Zafar bhai, I have a question. If you are gonna set as a passwordless, it will be for all the user, only just for us, like the one who's
For
logged
that
in.
specific user at that time.
Okay.
So if you're gonna do it with the ZMPT, then it's not gonna work with root. When you try to connect with root, then you have to set a passwordless again with root. So
Okay.
establishing the connection between the servers with the users. Okay, so before, if you do, let's do that. So what we're gonna do is, first we're gonna do here as a Zafar, let me try it here. I think I missed a step, but let's do it. Type the command here, ssh -keygen, and hit enter. Okay, something comes up on the screen. Hit enter again. And oh shoot. Yeah, go ahead and do yes. Y and hit enter. And
Okay, mine it says enter passphrase.
yeah, hit enter. Nothing.
Okay.
Enter passphrase again, hit enter. And it says, it has, what it did was we generated a local, or we generated a key, then we're gonna use specifically for the other server. Okay, so let me copy this part here. So here's the command. And over here, you see, just hit, oops, what I'm doing.
When I entered SSH-keygen, it's asking me enter file in which to save the key, home zmpt/sshidrsa.
Yeah, just type Y and hit enter.
And now it says enter passphrase.
Yeah, just hit plain enter.
Okay, I got it.
And for the passphrase, you're not doing anything, so just hit enter.
Yeah, I got the key.
Yeah, okay, I'm typing it here. And it's gonna say do that again, so all right, and your identification. Okay. So what happens here is that it will generate a public key. It will generate a private key actually. And it has a public key too. What this is happening, SSH is a lot more complex than you see here. I mean, there's a lot. You would have like a cryptography is something what it's called, the study to security and all that. So I'm just showing you the surface here, but there's a lot to it than what you just see here. All right. Now, once you have done that, so where does it go and sit? It goes and sit in this directory here. Dot. If something is starting with the dot, what does it mean?
Root.
I'm sorry, what?
Root.
No. If a file or
It's hidden
directory
file?
starts with a dot, what does
Oh,
it mean?
hidden files.
Yeah, hidden file, exactly. So now we're going into the folder actually, so it's a hidden folder. Okay, so I'm gonna say cd space and I do pwd. So I'm into a hidden folder, and if I do ls, we have two ls-l. So the system just generated today, right? ID and ID. So this one, don't worry about it. This is something we generated earlier. But right now, what we just did, SSH keyless, this is what we did. Okay, and if you look inside this here, look at this. It's an alphanumeric key here. Only this system will have that key. So if it's exchanging with another server, you could imagine how secure this is. Okay, this is an alphanumeric. I don't know how many digits are in there. And same with the public key. Public key is a little bit shorter than the private key, but what happens is when it's connecting, this is a little bit partial key of this key here. So when it's making a connection, the partial key matches with the full key and the connection is established. Okay, give me one moment here, guys. What do you want?
Can we upload a video?
No, not yet. I'll be done in 15 minutes.
Record. I mean record. We're
Yeah.
not gonna upload.
Yeah, go ahead.
Record.
Yeah. Okay, I'm back here. So you know what? Let's take a good 20-minute break here, and we'll be back on the top of the hour, and we'll continue for another half hour, and we should be done for the day. All right. So let's get back here at noon Central.
Okay, thank you.
All right, sure. All right. So. All right. Okay, so clear the screen and do SSH hyphen copy hyphen ID at ZMPT at 10.1.10.110. And then I'm going to hit enter and see if it's going to work here. Okay, and it's saying blah 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 blah, and it's saying to give the password for ZMPT at Red Hat. So I'm going to give Red Hat and hit enter. All right, now you see here, now try logging into the machine with just this here. So let's do, before that, let me copy this. Okay, Now take a notice here. All I'm doing is SSH ZMPT at 10.1.10.110. Okay? It should not ask me for the password. Let's see if it's going to do that. It did not ask me for the password. Look on the bottom here. I'm logged in as ZMPT at Zafar01. So I connected to Zafar01 server here using this ID. Okay? All right. You guys with me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, great. So now, let me clear the screen. Let me go back to my original server. What I'm going to do is, I'm going to do SSH copy ID. Now I'm going to do it to my second server. Make sure you are into your original server, and from there you're going into your second server. And I'm going to hit enter. Okay, this is going to come up because we are connecting there for the first time. From this server to 50 server, I am connecting for the first time. I connected from 110, not from this server. So everybody might get this answer too. Just say yes and then do Red Hat as the password. And there you go. Now what I'm going to do is simply going to do SSH. All right, before that, let me copy this here onto second server. Okay, now look. Let me clear the screen. So SSH ZMPT 10.1.10.50. I'm going to hit enter, and it did not ask me for the password. Simple as that. Any questions?
Yeah, question.
Yeah.
Why did I ask you the again it's on the second time?
Because we never connected from the top server.
Okay,
From
because
the
we
top
are
server to
connected to
the second server, we never connected. So still makes that connection.
Okay.
And then if you do that again, if you just do so if I bring up the diagram here again, where is the diagram? We connected from the top server here. From there, we got 110. From 110, we went to 150. We went to 50, and 50 we went to 110. we never connected from top server to 50. That's why it asked you that question.
Okay. Thank you.
Now, once you have established it, it should not ask you for it. It won't even ask you for the password either. All right, so when you are setting it up, make sure you're doing the right thing, okay? Make sure you verify stuff you're supposed to set up, SSH passwords and all that. Well, you're going to be going through the jump box anyway, so. All right, if everybody's caught up, I can move along.
Okay. All right, so now, all right, let's move on to another topic here. This is a user administration action. So now, everybody just go back to your first server. Let me clear this. I'm going to go back to my first server, which is 110. All right, it's not asking me for the password here. So that when I'm going to put it in the assignment, you have to do this both ways. Right now, it's only one way. SSH from here to here is one way. If you try to do SSH passwordless from 50 to a top server, it won't work. Okay, I will put it in an assignment for you guys to do it so that you have enough. So in total, how many passwordless you're gonna establish? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so you will establish like 36 passwordless from this server to this server back to this server, this server. It's all triangle double times. Okay. All right, now, so I'm into my first server, and you do host name, and go ahead and go to sudo su minus. And give it a password Red Hat. Usually
At job, this is how the password is going to be.
So how do you remember that kind of password?
You copy and paste. That's how the password is going to be. But that's the root password. What you're going to do is you will be logging to the server as a regular user first. From there, you do su sudo su minus. If you are into the group which is able to become a root, you are able to do it. If somebody is not able to do it, you cannot. So that's a security feature. Logging into the server directly as an administrator is not allowed, no matter what. Okay, just imagine if you are able to connect to the server directly as a root, that's a big problem. If you find a server like this, bring that attention to security. That is a big flaw. Okay, so you have a root user. So what is a root? Now this is a third root we are dealing with. What is the first root we dealt with yesterday? We dealt with a term root yesterday, right? Term root is the name of the very top directory, slash. It's called root. And slash root is also a name of an administrator directory. So if you are in there as a user administrator right now, if you do pwd, you are slash root, because this is your home directory for the root user. And here's something here. Root user has full access. Root user cannot be renamed. And never share the password with anybody. And don't send and share the password in email or chat. Just don't do it. All right. And so becoming root. How do you become a root? You log in as a regular user and you do sudo su hyphen and you become a root. Simple as that. Everybody with me on this? Okay, good. Now let's create a user. On this server, let's create a user. Okay, we'll do user add and then give it a name. Or now I want to give something unique. I'm gonna give the name user test1 and I'll hit enter. User is created and we have to set the password for the user test1. and you hit enter. And you could set the password red hat, just to be you know, in a real world scenario you have to set it as a complex password. Okay, so now what you do is you did a test one, created a user test one here. Okay, so open a duplicate window. Open a duplicate window here. I'm going to say duplicate window. And now when you do duplicate window, you actually log into the main server. So go ahead and do the regular login. Okay, from here, you do SSH test1 at 10.1.10.110, your first server. The server where you created the test user. And everybody with me, make sure you're not falling behind. It's really important at this moment. Can I proceed? Hello, can you hear me, guys?
Yes,
Yes.
Okay. Now, is it going to ask me to exchange the keys? Yes, it will ask me to exchange the keys because I'm going into that server as a new user, different user. Oh, maybe not. Oh, the keys are set, but it's still asking for the password because the passwordless is not set up between the test user and this server. Okay, I'm logged in as regular user here, and go ahead and do sudo su minus and provide the password. It says the access the permission is denied. If you look under bottom here, you said test1 is not in the sudo's file. This incident will be reported. And so what happened is he tried to become a root and he's not able to do it. Why? Because he doesn't have permission. Normally, why, I'm not sure why is it giving all these error messages here. Okay, so you connected as a SSH user and then you sudo it to it, and then you see the test user is not, he doesn't have permission to do it. Now,
question.
yeah.
That when you said we are getting so many errors, so can we send those? Can we use the command at this point to send those errors into the null?
No, those you can't.
No, not.
I mean, I'm not sure how that will work. I never really tried it. But there is a configuration file, you just have to edit it. You don't want to see the you don't want to see that message, you could just go and remove one. There is a one configuration file. I'll show you where it's at. Okay, so we have a SSH into it. Now the permission is denied here, right? So what I'm going to do is we're going to elevate the permission to the user so that he's have a root access. Grant root or sudo access to test1. So we leave this window as is, leave this window alone. Go back to the window where you're logged in as root, and here type this command here to make him the sudo access. Okay, so how do you do that? You just do user mod. User mod means user modification. -a means A stands for, I forget what A stands for. G is a capital G means group name. Wheel, we are adding him to the wheel group, and name of the user, test1. This is the command. This is the switch. I'll find out what A and G means. And this is the group. Group. So if you become a part of a group, so you have access to whatever the group that has access to. So group. So this group will has a root access, and this is a user.
Should it be test1 or our names?
Whatever you want. I'm just giving test1. I mean, what did you create earlier? Did you create a user add earlier? Right here. You're supposed to add a username. Do user add. If you have not done it, do it now. User add and whatever the user you want to add it to. Not to get confused, I think just keep it test1. Okay?
Okay.
And then set the password and all that. Now we checked on the other window, he's not able to log in. Now we told him he's gonna log in like this. So wheel group is admin group. All right. And I'm gonna hit enter. And you do ID test1 it gives you his user ID, group ID, groups he belonged to. He belonged to his group name, his own name, and he belongs to the group name wheel. Okay, so let me put that in here. All right, now let's try it. Now try to now become okay, go into the other window which is open, clear the screen, and hold on, let me just do side by side. So I'm going to do sudo su hyphen or a minus sign, and is asking for the password for test. I'm going to give red hat, and oh, it may not work. Why it may not work? You have to exit and come back. Go back in there again, red hat, clear the screen, and do sudo su minus red hat. It worked this time. Anytime you make a changes, as a general rule of thumb is that you quit and come back. Okay, exit and come back. Like if you're doing like an update on your cell phone, right? It will quit and come back. That's what is happening here. All right, I'm going to give a pause. Any questions? Can I continue?
Yes.
Okay, good. So over here, I'm going to put some information which I already have. So sudo all right, so sudo means switch act, switch user do. That's what it means. And su means switch user, and minus switch user, and then minus means root. Switch to root user. That's what it means. And did I miss adding a user here? Okay, all right, so we have another 10 minutes here. I'm gonna show a couple more things and we'll call it a day. So we did all this thing here, right? Where is all this information going in? Go ahead and close the other one window out and just keep one window open. So what happens is a file, when you're doing the user activity, the file, one file gets updated. And what is that file? I'm going to do cat etc password passwd, not the whole thing, and hit enter. So what happens is this file gets updated here. Look on the bottom here. We have Zafar ZMPT, and his user ID is 1000, group ID is 1000, and this is his name. This is his directory, and he have access to bin bash. So when you do create a user, what will happen is what will happen when you do the user add. In this scenario, what is happening is this user is being added and this file gets modified. Okay, adds user to system, and etc passwd gets modified. This is where the user is being stored. Okay, and when you do id user, okay, so here uid is user ID. GID, GID, group ID. Groups user belongs to. Can you be a part of more than one group? Like if you belong to one organization, can you belong to another organization? Yeah, sure, why not? You could belong to many organizations. So the moment you belong to wheel organization or wheel group, then you have the access. You have which access? Root access. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to squeeze it a little bit, clear it. So you do cat etc password in, and let's look at this information here. So first item here is ZMPT, right? That's a username, ZMPT. And it has little X as in Xerox. That means it's asking the system to check for the password. And after that, this part separated by a colon is a user ID, which is 1000. Group ID is 1000. And over here, this is actually a user information here. It's just saying ZMPT here, but this is a user information. And this is the home directory. Everybody by now know what the home directory is. And it says shell type. What kind of shell it's using? Bin and bash. I'll explain you. There is a different kind of shell also, but in old days you have to specify what exact shell you're using. But I think it's not necessary this time around. If it's necessary, I will tell you. But this time around, it used to be you have to specify it, but it's automatically taking as bin bash. Okay. This is just informational. Yeah, you're not going to be using it quite often. Yeah. You got a question? All right, so you created a user. Over here, I forgot to copy password. Actually, I have to go back here. Okay, just copy this part.
If we want to try setting up all these one more time, is it possible we could erase it and go back again?
Yeah, let's do, for the assignment, don't erase it. Go ahead and create new user, like user test or whatever you think of.
So how can we erase everything?
I mean, don't erase it, just add new user. Add like test2 or, I'll show you how to delete the user. I don't think I have enough time here. So I'm just finishing this up. I'll show you next week how to delete the user and all that. But for now, I'm gonna put this in the assignment and go ahead and complete that, okay?
No.
And this step is actually it's gonna be a separate step because that command has been completed. So set user password. Okay, password command, this is the one that will set the user password. And you have to confirm, and then it will say all authentication tokens has been updated successfully. All right, guys, this is enough for today. And before I close, let me just show you one. Where is the password stored? Can you store the can you see the password? You cannot see the exact password, but you could you do cat etc shadow. This is the password file that holds the password, and it scrambles it. So from here to here is a password in alphanumeric. This is alphanumeric information here for the password. Here, let me just copy this part and put it in there also. This file holds the password for all the system users. Okay, if you copy the password, it won't still it still won't be able to tell you what exactly that password is. Okay, and let me put this information here.
When I am doing cat etc / shadow, it says permission denied.
Yeah, because you're not root. Are you root?
I am at ZMPT and Aisha 01.
Yeah, but no, do who am I? It should tell you root. If not, then you're not a root. Do who am I?
Mm-hmm. Now I am at root at Aisha 01.
Okay, now you should be able to do it. So you see here, this is the first field and the colon, the second field and all that, right? The
Yeah,
first,
I got all that.
yeah, the first field is a username and the second field is a password. It's not exactly the password. You see that password is scrambled. Even as an administrator, you cannot see the password here. And then the third field is here, 19029. So it's a date stamp since the start of the Unix operating system. So if you go like, if you type today's, if you type in Google 19,029 days ago, what was the date? This is January 1st, 1970. That is when the Linux operating system was released. Okay? That's how it's going to maintain it, no matter what. It's going to maintain the date. This is going to manage it from the day after December 1st, 1969. So it's been so many days since then. And if you look at it here, the next field, it says 0. The password is going to give you the grace period. And 9999 is expiration date since the last update. So in real world, it's going to be 60 days. But here it says 999. That means you have to wait that many days for it to complete. That means the password never expires and it's going to warning 7 days earlier. So this is just informational. Don't sweat over it. But well, let me see, what time is it? Okay, the time is up. So I'm going to close this now. And if you have any questions, please put it in the chat, and then I'll give you guys a good assignment today, so that you have some good practice sessions and things to do. And if you guys are doing any group session and if you want other people to join, just put it in the chat and I'll make the WebEx available for you.
Thank you.
All right, no problem. Have a good weekend, everybody. Slowly.
Thank you, Jazakallah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, slow.